Is same face syndrome bad? In my opinion, no, it is not. However, it can be. When drawing a character's face, a lot of people default to one face. Even I do this occasionally. If you're drawing just to draw, it's fine. I think people need to realize that some people want to draw for fun rather than to improve or get a job, which is what I'm currently doing. I feel like it becomes an issue when you're making a comic or narrative with your characters. I've read countless comics and webtoons where multiple characters look alike and the story becomes confusing. There will be a panel zoomed in on their face. Now I'm pulled out the story and focused on who this character is. This draws people away. No one is going to read a story that's confusing no matter how pretty your characters are. Also, if you plan on getting into the art working world, like character design, animation, you get the point. The people you want to work for more than likely want to see diversity. If they think you can't be flexible, they won't hire you. Working in the art industry, you will have to change your style to suit most work. If you want to keep your style, indie is probably your best bet. Now, Kooleen, I used to watch her videos. Can't lie there. Mainly because a lot of YouTubers I like that do art post speed paints, so it was kinda hard to find YouTubers to listen to in the background. In my opinion, her humor isn't to my taste. Beforehand, some of the stuff rubbed me a bit weird. Like her saying she only drew pretty people, then only drew one type of face. I assumed she looked like that or that was just her type, which people often do. But I feel you shouldn't make tutorials if your art is stagnant. Explaining how to draw a certain way without explaining why will not help anyone watching your video. It will only set them back, which is why I've deleted my art tutorials on YouTube. I never listened to her tutorials because I felt they weren't too helpful to me. I prefer artists like Mark Burnett. I stopped watching her for a while, then I heard about the controversy. Kooleen did a side profile tutorial then called One Side Gorilla Looking, which are features you'd see on people of color, or more specifically black people. And I don't have to explain that gorilla comment. She also called edges for eyebrows.
I have 4 eyebrows. Bruh. And is that an android? Okay.
Two-tone black lips sausages.
Well, that's not very pretty at all. This is not a lip, this is a sausage. A very sussy sausage.
And got rid of a character's black features, replacing them with Eurocentric features.
You're looking kinda goofy, so let me give you some #valid criticism. As a general rule, just don't let the chin exceed the nose. Imagine that this is the skull, and this is where the eye should be, a bit closer to the side. It helps to draw a diagonal line like this to serve as a guide. And now I'm simply gonna liquefy, and then the eyebrows just copy paste, and there we go. Yassify before and after.
I think one of these alone maybe could be played as ignorance or a bad joke. Trust me, I've done that. But this is interesting. In my opinion, it seemed intentional. I don't think ignorance can even be played in an argument. Kooleen is a YouTuber. She's on the internet 24/7. Slight rant, but I've seen people excuse a lot of Asians, more specifically East Asians, racism, because they're quote-unquote ignorant. This is mainly from K-pop fans and fanalizing Koreans in general. I feel like saying that is just minimizing the issues and dumbing down East Asians. If I'm not wrong, Kooleen is Filipino, but I think this still applies. Her art style caters towards that group of people more. K-pop stans. It seems to show a lot of the Korean beauty standards. I can't speak for Filipinos because I myself am black, but I've heard them say colorism is pretty rampant throughout Asia, which also applies to black people. And I'd say most people of color. I've heard them also say a lot of K-pop idols are how most Asians try to make themselves look. Double eyelids, slimmer nose. Just getting rid of their ethnic features to look a certain way, not too far from the US. Saw a few people say this might be what Kooleen is doing, not in the sense of changing her face and stuff, but applying that beauty standard to her art. And honestly, I thought she herself was Korean before she did a face reveal, and apparently a lot of people thought the same. Back to my main point. I think she's been dropping microaggressions, and I feel like people who haven't experienced racism will act as if these don't exist. You don't have to drop the N-word to be racist. And I've seen some artists have some interesting hot takes. I've seen a few, more specifically one artist that tried to play the neutral route but ended up sounding like a racist apologist. They only mentioned one thing. They did then made it seem like people attacked her solely for same face syndrome. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely seen that. But to ignore why people are angry to make them seem dramatic is just irritating. Sometimes you have to pick a side, in my opinion. Staying neutral can hurt the people even more. Is Kooleen drawing the same face bad? No. Is her drawing mainly one race bad? No, but I do think representation is important. Is her controversial opinion on facial features bad? Yes, in my humble opinion. I've also noticed her taking the situation as a joke. Now, this whole situation reminds me of someone. Samdoesart. Listen, I can't even say I'm innocent here. A while back, the same artist released a drawing of Ellie and Joel from the Last of Us HBO show. Ellie's face didn't look like her actor Bella Ramsey, but Joel looked like Pedro Pascal. Many people flipped about this, including me. I can't speak for others, but I was upset because Bella Ramsey at the time was getting a lot of hate for not looking like gay Ellie. The hate was actually crazy for Bella. They were a good actor and clearly picked for a reason, yet they were getting death threats. Then Sam released this drawing. I thought he was one of those people hating on Bella, but in a subtle way. I found out about it on TikTok. Then someone posted about him commenting saying he only drew people he was attracted to, which was in poor taste because Ellie is supposed to be 14. This was an inside joke on his other account, but he said this to the public. People didn't know this was an inside joke, and neither did I. I fully believe he said this in a quick moment of clapping back at the haters in a sarcastic way, but then realized how bad that sounded. He deleted the drawing and redid it, in my opinion, very well. Since then, he's done face studies and you can definitely see improvement. I think this is another problem with same face syndrome. Drawing actual people and it coming off as insulting when messing up their features. Honestly, I understand Sam in a lot of ways. I've only recently started drawing men and they all look related to each other, like cousins or something. I think Sam is an example of the internet going too far. People were calling him a woman hater, and I disagree. I think in most of his art he does women respectfully and makes them seem like actual characters or people. Also notice how he responded to the situation and fixed the problem, even if he wasn't completely upfront about it. Can't say the same about another artist. That's all for now. Bye and consider subscribing.